just in my short years of life, growing up and looking at success, my mom and dad were both in network marketing, and they were very successful at doing that. And the reason I think they haven't continued on with that is because it wasn't something they were passionate about. It wasn't something that they loved. And I think I take more so after my parents, because I find success for people is doing what they love to do, right? You have a lot of people saying that they are living for the weekend, and to me that's really sad, because you hate what you are doing so much that you are living for a couple of days out of the week, and then you're dreading Monday to come around, on Sunday. And the difference that I'm seeing in people who are quote unquote successful is that they can't wait for Monday to start, and they're almost sad that the weekend rolls around because they have to slow things down. So success, in your opinion, what does that look like? Is it doing something that you love to do, or is it this monetary, buying cars, having a big house, taking care of your family?
I don't think you can be successful without loving what you do. There are a lot of very successful, unhappy people. They go to a 9-to-5, they hate what they're doing, but they get paid, and they get to provide the things for their family. They get to buy the niceties of life. But for me, success is waking up in the morning and looking at my schedule, and some days I have no idea what's on my schedule until I wake up in the morning. And I realize that I've got a 9 o'clock at the Salvation Army, or a Boys and Girls Club event, regardless of what it is. Or I might even have 10 or 10:30 meeting, because everybody in my business world knows you do not expect ever for me to be at a meeting before 10 or 10:30. Only charity are the only ones that I go to early in the morning. But when you look at the word success, happiness has to be a part of it, and you've got to find that happiness. Some people, it takes a lifetime for them to find that one thing that fits them to a T. I'm very fortunate. I've found 20 things. I would do 20 more if I actually had the opportunity. I'd be involved in 10 more charities, or 3 more businesses. And I do have a couple of things coming up, a distribution business that we're working on for health products, better health products, with a doctor friend who's very, very talented, who has an age management program. I would love to do something with him. He has an amazing product. Dr. Paul Thompson has amazing products. He helps you live better and live longer, stay younger. It's a great program that he's on, and he's probably a little younger than me. He's in his mid 50s. But if he walked into this room, you'd look at him and go, "Oh my gosh!" Yeah. I mean, he's just ripped up. Wow. And in great shape. He lives a much cleaner life than I do. He tends to say that I'm very lucky that I have the genes, because I don't work very hard. I don't really think I'm a lazy person. I just feel like that there's just a lot of things that I think you can shortcut to. And I don't think shortcuts are bad if no one's hurt. If you protect yourself and you protect your business, and you can take a few shortcuts in life to get to where you want to be, I don't find that to be bad at all. So, well, I wish I could just focus on oil and gas, or just focus on real estate, or just focus on music, but I can't. And I would not recommend this lifestyle for everyone. I think that you if you find that thing that you love and you're good at it, then stick with it.
Yeah. Well, it's cool, because I think we're a lot alike in the ways that we just do the things that we like or love to do, and it doesn't particularly pertain to one thing. It's a lot of things.
Right.
I grew up from a very young age learning to cook with my grandmother.
Right.
So I would love to have a restaurant one day and cook the same kind of foods that she did when she was young. I also like real estate, so I would love to one day have a firm or something like that, And I don't know, it to me, like I was saying, success is just doing the things that you love to do, or the things that you really have an interest in, that you kind of hop into, like you were saying, kind of jack of all trades kind of thing. But I just have fun with variety, I can't necessarily focus on one exact thing that I love to do more than any other. I love to encourage people more than any other thing. That's what gets me out of bed in the mornings. That's what drives me to go to work every day. And I find that the mundane nature of me, going to my job becomes a lot better when I focus on other people. In your opinion, how does sincerely elevating other people elevate yourself?
Well, I think in order to elevate other people, you have to be elevated. So fortunately for me, through my work with charities, I've gotten to know Charlotte Jones Anderson and the Cowboy family, the Jones family, and Emmett Smith and Roger Staubach, and I'm involved in the Dallas Stars Owners Advisory Board and the foundation. So, and Donnie Nelson, these are all people that in our community that you hear them speak and you're motivated and you're elevated, and you just don't really get a good grasp of what the Jones family's about, because people judge them on decisions that are made related to football. And it's not just about football. If someone could take the time and they actually made it public, the involvement that they have in our community and in all over the United States and all over the world, you'd be amazed at what these people do. And Emmett, for example, runs our Yet Center. He's our advisory board chair. Fortunate to serve with him since day one. Whenever a Super Bowl comes to a town, the NFL puts up $1 million and the ownership puts up $1 million, and they build a Yet Center, Yet, which is Youth Education Town Center. Typically it's Boys and Girls Clubs. Sometimes it's Boys and Girls Clubs and Salvation Army. This particular one in Arlington is at the Salvation Army on Abrams Street, and I was fortunate to be on that committee from the very beginning with people like Clarice Tinsley and Dee Lincoln and Charlotte and unbelievable Mayor Cluck, unbelievable people in our community, Roger Staubach. That committee is still going strong, and it's still supported by, matter of fact, we are the most successful Yet Center in the United States because of those people. So elevation starts there, and then it's your responsibility to elevate that next person, regardless of who that next person is.
Right.
Sometimes when I walked out of my office in Arlington, which is where our sports capital is, that's where all of our sports memorabilia gear is. We call it the club because the four of us partners all have offices there and a full gym, and that's where we go to play gin and hang out and kind of just do guy stuff. We play poker there once a month. But I walked out one day and saw two men walking with their backpacks, and it was cold that day. And I noticed one of them had a Salvation Army hat on. I didn't know who they were. So I said, "Hey guys, what's going on?" So he said, "Oh, well, my name's William, and I'm so-and-so." And I said, "Well, wow." So I took a picture of the three of us. I gave them some money, asked them, "Where do you stay normally?" And they told me it was by the McDonald's on Abrams Street, back where the trash dump is. So it just got cold that night, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go find them. So I drive around later in the night, come to find out that they volunteer for the Salvation Army. They've gone down to disaster relief. Two guys, both to the eye, completely capable of functioning a normal life, but yet both of them were homeless. And I didn't get into the story itself, but Lieutenant Timothy told me he knew both of them, that they're very active in the church. They've invited me several times. Now William has left and gone back to Kansas, I believe. But now on Facebook, these are two guys that I'm friends on Facebook with. So they don't always have access to a phone, but it was that small gesture, because they lifted me up by talking to them, and then I turned right around and lifted them up. And you realize that everybody has someone that's their mentor or their friend or their special person that will elevate you to another level. So, and I think that's a great question. I like that word, elevate. I really do, because that's what this is every single day of our lives.
Absolutely. One of the things that once again, through my very short years of life, I'm only 28. But one of the things that I'm finding out as I'm getting older is that the people that you surround yourself with are very important. I mean, very important.
Right.
Like they always say, your closest 5 friends are a reflection of yourself. How do you, in your own unique process, find those people that not only reflect who you are, but they aren't yes men, right? They aren't yes women. They truly and sincerely tell you the truth in love to help you and to grow you, and in turn you do the same back to them. How do you go about finding those people?
Well, I have to be honest with you. I don't particularly surround myself with just yes people or just no people. I think you have to have a mixture. There has to be people that are in your life that are there to support your decisions. And then there are people there in your life that help direct you to make decisions. And there are people in your life that help you influence your decisions. So I think it has to be a mixture of those. And I don't, when everyone says that you have so many friends. Well, yeah, I do have a lot of acquaintances, and I do have some truly, truly great friends and mentors, but my brother is a mentor to me. He's my younger brother, yet he is the foundation, he and his wife, of our family. So they're the ones that keep things in our family together. And yet here he is, my little brother, 22 months. And you know, we have a mutual friend from Arlington, Toby Wilson, who is the I like to call him the vision of truth, because he mixes no words. He says it like it is. You know, I've got to meet some people through him. I met Dale Hansen, Kurt Franklin, Kid Craddock, all 3 special friends of Toby's. And I see why those people have relationships with Toby, because he's not going to sugarcoat it. He's just going to tell you exactly how it is. And those, you know, unfortunately we lost Kid, of course, and it would a terrible loss to everyone because he was such an amazing man. But his life lives on. And every time I turn on my CD player here, because I still have CD players, as you can, all these CDs that are all over here that are all CDs that I listen to every single day. People send them to me. Sometimes they're really, really good, and sometimes they're not, but I listen to everything that comes into this shop. Well, I have a CD, and it goes right to Stomp, because that's Kurt Franklin firing me up in the morning when I'm on the way to work. So I think that I think you have to have a combination of those people. Yes, people know people, and then, you know, people that instead of telling you yes or no, they tell you what to do.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to do it, and I love hearing everyone's opinion. But ultimately, I'm probably going to end up doing what I think that I would have done in the first place, right or wrong. Sometimes I'll make mistakes, but occasionally I'm very influenced by someone else's objective perspective of things. So much more than mine.
What about that very last thing, very last word that you said almost? Mistakes. Mistakes, failures are a huge part of growing.
Yeah.
What would you say to that?
Well, I think without failure, you can never find success. I don't believe that any person ever in the history of the world was without failure, no matter who you are. I believe strongly that those failures help shape you, help motivate you. I sometimes have failures every single day. I feel like that, I had a deal fall through. I wasn't forgot to tell my girlfriend good night. You know what? I forgot to call my daughter and tell her that I'd be home late today. I mean, those are all failures. I missed a meeting, or I was late. Those are all small failures, but a lot of times you fail in your personal life, but you also fail in your business life too. I think that you can do one of two things. You cannot take any risk, therefore not worry about failure, or you can take all the risk in the world, deal with the failure, and just move on. And for me, that's I'm willing to take that chance. At my age now, there's really not a whole lot more that I feel like that I need to do. It's really what I want to do. And there's a lot of people that I think can still benefit from the lessons that our grandfather and our fathers taught my brother and I. At some point in time, I hope that we can do this with the two of us together. You will not understand, and you can't conceptualize the complete opposite. And obviously you've met Chris, so you know that we are complete opposites. But he is that voice of reason, and I feel very strongly that that you just got to try. You just got to try. You got to take some chance, and you got to take some risk. I mean, even when you went to talk to your now wife for the first time, I mean, you're nervous. I mean, you don't know, is she gonna like me? Is she not gonna like me? I mean, I like her, but sometimes that's not enough. But you're never really gonna know unless you ask. And I feel the same way when I have to raise money. Oh my gosh, it kills me. Right now I'm the chair of the Salvation Army Yet Center Inspiring Hope luncheon. We just finished the Boys and Girls Club Champion for Kids Award, of which Caffey Group was an award winner at once. We just finished our breakfast. First weekend in May, I've got Back the Blue for Arlington Police Department. I've got Miracle League coming up. I've got some golf tournaments. I'm constantly raising money for these events. And you know what? I do feel guilty, and I do feel bad about it. But it's not going to stop me from asking. Because every once in a while, that one person comes up, my daughter's mom and stepfather, Jay and Holly Bray, for example. We did an event for Inspiring Hope Luncheon last year, and I had Emmett speak, who of course is a dear friend and a role model for everyone in the world. And Jay Bray, who really is the CEO of a public company called Mr. Cooper, which is owned by Nation Star Mortgage Company, largest mortgage company in the United States. And they gave me $25,000. I mean, this is my daughter's stepfather's company. And all I did was ask. I mean, people like that are so giving and so great. I mean, they that's not the only. Obviously, the Brays do a lot more for charities all over the United States. But for this small thing, this was huge, because here you have the cowboy families that underwrite our event. Excuse me, that's a little A little cocky of me to say
we'll
that.
Edit that out. We'll edit
Sorry,
that out.
sorry. Our event, and then you have Baylor Orthopedic and Mr. Cooper that come in and give $25,000 a piece. I mean, you're already at $200,000 before you even open up, before you sell your first table. I mean, and who's it for? It's for the Salvation Army. It's for those children. It's for those people who are struggling with homelessness, people who don't have a place to go with domestic abuse. You know, they need a place, and they need, we can never do enough. Life Shelter, Boys and Girls Club, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Miracle League. I mean, all of our professional teams, the Rangers, the Cowboys, the Stars, and the Mavericks, they all have foundations that they give to our communities. And all these professional athletes that have their with the Stars, for example, each one of the athletes, Jamie and Tyler and Klingberg, everybody, they have their own little foundations that they give to the community. And I mean, that's it's not our responsibility, it's our obligation to give. And sometimes if I've got $40 in my money clip, I'm going to find another $4 or $5 in the bottom of my car and give 45 to somebody who I see in the street, because they need it more than I do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Mr. Martin, thank you so much for taking time out of your
my
busy
pleasure.
schedule and hanging out.
My pleasure. I love talking about charities. People say, my brother says I love talking about myself, but it's not so much about myself as much it is about what somebody who we grew up with nothing, and what we can do in our community and for other people, just because we can, because it's there.
One last thing.
Yep.
Imagine this camera is a person, all right? A younger person, right? We'll say he's just turned 21. He or she just turned 21.
Well, I'm pretty shy, so
yeah,
that's
okay.
Really okay.
Imagine they are just completely unhappy with where they're at, and they're just not content, and they know they're destined for greater things, and they want to step out there, but just fear is holding them back. Imagine this camera is that person. What kind of advice would you give?
Well, the unhappiness that you experience, it might just be unhappiness that you have in your personal life. It may not have anything to do with your career. It may not have anything to do with, your future. So what you really have to do is you've got to experiment a little bit. Just because you have a full-time job doesn't mean that you can't get into something like network marketing, or that you can't get involved in a charity in your community, or that you can't spend time at a youth center or volunteer at the Boys and Girls Club. There are so many things that you can find. It's not just about the success of money, it's about the success of happiness. And I wouldn't say you quit, but you always experiment, and you always trying to find what it is that is your passion, that makes you happy, and where you can make other people happy.
That's awesome. Thank you once again, Mr. Martin.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Intention, Attention. I love it because it's always something different. I love doing this because it's always something different. Different kind of advice that just brings value to everyone. And hopefully you guys have found the value in this interview with Mr. Mark Caffey.
Thank you, Joshua. Appreciate it.